right, rise and shine, everyone. 6:01. Jason and Alicia here with you. As you saw, there are a lot to talk about. Just the devastation out in California, just horrible to see. So we have full coverage of that, but we got to talk about the weather here because we're getting some snow.
Snow in the forecast. Finally, John, I know this is just a light dusting, but there's a bigger chance this weekend you're talking about too.
Right. I don't think this is the money-making snow that we like to call it. Obviously, plow drivers probably not going to get out there. Maybe some salt this afternoon, but looks like Sunday morning is the one that we're starting to eye for a chance. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, models are popping all around. Some models are saying none, then 4, then 2, then 3. So what do I take from it? Well, there's a chance for actual snow Sunday morning. Light snow is imminent this afternoon. It just looks very light, almost flurry-like. Mild end of the week. Here we got temperatures in the 20s this afternoon, middle 20s, and then we'll talk about that snow Sunday. So outside it is 12. I'm not going to call this balmy, but it's warmer. Southeast winds at 7 miles per hour. Looking up towards Moorhead, 18, 19. They're warming up in the northwest, and that is actually the cold front popping up temperatures with cloud cover and some light snow. Now we'll get that cloud cover and snow by 4 to 6 o'clock. Now that is during the evening. We'll talk about some of the impacts here, and we'll take a look at Sunday in your forecast coming up. Cece.
Hey, good morning. Not so slow of a morning today. We've seen crashes, traffic incidents. Now, this stalled vehicle here in St. Paul, kind of hard to see here. Looks like the camera's still waking up, but this is on 94 eastbound near White Bear Avenue. A lane was blocked a few minutes ago, but it seems to be out of the way now. So if you're passing through this area, driving toward Maplewood soon, you should be okay for now. I'm also seeing a incident pop up down in Eagan on Highway 13. I'll have an update about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Cece, thank you so much. We are following breaking news out of Southern California this morning. At least 5 wildfires burning out of control in and around Los Angeles. And right now it's prompting hundreds of thousands of people to evacuate.
We know 5 people have died and nearly 2,000 structures have burned down. And both numbers are expected to go up as crews return to assess all of the damage. Michelle Beck, though, is tracking the latest this morning from the live desk. Michelle, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, brand new interviews to share with you this hour as so much has changed for the worse in the last 24 hours. What started as 3 wildfires in LA County yesterday has now expanded to 5. And the Palisades fire, the biggest then, remains the biggest now, only it's multiplied 6 times in size. Apocalyptic images out of the state are coming into the newsroom, and right now the state says for 3 of the 5 fires, nothing is contained. At least 5 people have been killed and more than 100,000 people have been forced to flee. We also know this is the most destructive in LA history as thousands of structures, including homes, have been consumed by these flames.
Literally block after block after block of houses that were there, 48 hours ago aren't there anymore.
This is where our son was born. This was our house, and this was what we worked for. This was what we were going to use to retire. That was our investment.
Yeah, so many emotional responses, as you can imagine, so you can't help but to feel for these folks. But you're looking at the latest raw images of the newest confirmed wildfire. I am tracking it as it threatens iconic Hollywood landmarks. Guys, more on that in 30 minutes. Jason.
So many lives being uprooted and ruined right now by these fires. It's really sad. Michelle, thank you. Let's bring John in here with the weather impact now. The wind is really driving these fires right now.
Well, we were looking at some of the wind speeds, over 70 mile per hour wind gusts and sustained wind gusts, actually. So what we're looking at is what we call Santa Ana winds. Now, what is a Santa Ana wind? Well, it's a wind that goes in the opposite direction. It actually comes in from the desert. So the desert is actually elevated higher than LA. So when it goes down the ramp, down the desert into the valley near LA, it actually picks up speed and it dries. Whenever you take a wind speed and a particle out of the desert, elevate it and then drop it, it actually dries it out, lowers the dew point, and speeds it up. And those winds are coming from the desert. Not a good sign for everybody. Again, that's caused a lot of damage out there as well. 70-mile-an-hour winds, very significant.
Yeah, and firefighters said that they really couldn't catch a break. They need more firefighters, they need more water to help put out these flames, but hopefully they'll get some reprieve from those winds.
We just need the winds to come down to 30 or 40, give them a chance.
Right. That would be great. All right, John, thank you. All right, now the Vikings are still scheduled to face the LA Rams in Los Angeles Monday night. Both teams sharing well wishes for the community and first responders on X. The NFL says it is keeping a very close eye on the fires, but if they do need to move the game out of SoFi Stadium, the backup plan here is to play in Glendale, Arizona, over at State Farm Stadium. That's where the Arizona Cardinals play. The NFL says it's staying in touch with local officials, the teams, and the NFL Players Association. Make sure you stay with us. We are bringing you the latest from these fires as they continue to spread. More coverage from reporters on the ground in LA. That's coming up in just 10 minutes.
This morning, we're also tracking what could be one of the worst southern snowstorms in years, gaining strength this morning. Forecasters say it will span from parts of New Mexico to the Carolinas by Saturday. These are areas of the country that don't often get below freezing. People will less likely own shovels, and communities with fewer plows and snow spreaders. In Texas, officials say their power supply should be able to handle all the impacts. John, of course, is tracking out this system as well, and he's going to have an update for us in the next half hour. Now, despite some snow in the forecast in the last few hours, we've learned the Klondike Dog Derby in Excelsior has been canceled for a second year in a row. Our Audrey Russo is live in Excelsior on Water Street right now with brand new details from organizers. Audrey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Alicia. Organizers say it really came down to safety. They say there's just simply not enough hard-packed snow on the ground, and they don't anticipate getting enough snow anytime soon. In the release that we got it was about an hour and a half ago, organizers, they say that they start grooming the trails about 2 weeks before Derby Day. So even looking 2 weeks out from now, the timing is just not working out for them with the forecast. Now, each year, this 40-mile sled race around Lake Minnetonka brings roughly 30,000 people to Excelsior. It actually gives the city one of its biggest weekends for business and for tourism. The event's president touched on the difficulty of making this decision, saying in a statement to us, quote, "Every element is in place to produce a world-class sled dog race except one, snow. But as we do, we also begin planning for the next race in 2026, when we hope to come back stronger and better than ever." Now, even though the actual race is canceled, the event organizers are trying to come up with some events to keep the weekend alive, salvage the fun. I'll have a little bit more on that coming up in a half hour, but for now, Jason, Alicia, I'll send it back to you.
A shame to see that canceled. A shame for all those businesses as well. Audrey Russo reporting live. Thank you. Well, right now, the nation is preparing to say a final farewell to our 39th president, Jimmy Carter. President Biden declaring today a national day of mourning. At this hour, Carter is lying in state at the Capitol Rotunda. Over these last 36 hours, thousands of mourners have visited to pay their respects, including President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania, as well as musicians Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks. The pair have spent years volunteering with the Carters for Habitat for Humanity. They will sing at the late president's funeral at the National Cathedral today. President Joe Biden will deliver a eulogy for his late friend, and so will Ted Mondale, the son of Carter's vice president, Minnesota native Walter Mondale.
He talks about what a principled leader he was for human rights and civil rights. He talks about Carter being a man of his word. My job is to go there and hopefully hit one out of the park for my dad and for his friend.
So let's take a look at the timeline of today's events. A motorcade will take President Carter to the National Cathedral in about 3 hours. Then there will be a ceremony for his arrival. The service begins at 9 a.m. and his journey home to Georgia comes after that. There will be then a private funeral service before he is buried this evening next to his wife, Rosalind.